Did iCarly use your likeness? Justine is so beautiful and so sweet, but if she wanted to, she could probably rip off my head.
I mean, I could, but I'm not going to.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
No, you're good. You're good. I'm literally in the ICU, like thinking I'm dying, and they're like, we really need to talk to you.
Welcome back, my little rebels, to Rodiculous. For today's episode, I'm going to be sitting down with a guest that you guys have been requesting since I first announced this podcast. She is smart, she is beautiful, driven, and in all honesty, she could kick my ass. I have made countless videos with her over the years, and she is one of the first people who actually reached out to me on YouTube when I was just getting started. Not only is she a tech queen, she is truly one of the first original digital content creators. I honestly don't know how she does it all, but I adore her. Please welcome Justine.
Whoa! Oh my God, I'm so excited. Like, the new studio looks awesome. Like, it's pink, it's beautiful. I'm so excited.
I feel like I'm late to the party because you had a podcast way before me, and they're so much fun, but there's so much work.
It's wild because me and my friend were podcasting in like 2007 when podcasting wasn't even a thing.
I feel like that's your entire career. You've done it all first. Like, you were the original everything. When I think of the OG, we should get like matching tattoos, but you're even more OG than me. But it's like, when I think of the OGs of digital content creators, I think of you. For those of you who are listening who may not be familiar with Justine, iJustine, she literally started live streaming your life on...
Yeah.
It wasn't even called Twitch then. It was called Justine TV.
Yep.
And, okay, tell me everything.
That was in like 2007. So I had been creating content around like 2006, 2005. But before that, like all through middle school, I mean, I was maybe like 10. Like, I was making websites. I had like a daily random photo website back in like, I mean, this was in high school, and I carried that all the way through college. Like, I was coding the entire archive pages through HTML. Like, I coded everything. There was no like WordPress. There was no nothing. Like, I was making the forward, the backward pages, the archives. And then when one thing would break, it was like my life just fell apart because I would have to try to figure out where was the error. And then, you know, later on, I started running another blog, which was actually called Tasty Blog Snack, which was so random. Like, I would just post. It was actually,
I love it.
It was about like tech stuff. It was about food. It was kind of about whatever. And then that kind of transitioned.
The things we love.
I know. And then that kind of transitioned into iJustine kind of around like 2002 when I first registered the domain, like 2002, 2003. So yeah, it's been quite a journey. I mean, I've been making content online since I was like maybe like 8, and I'm 40 now. Like,
I'm 39.
I know, but like, it's so like, where did the time go?
Right?
Right.
I feel like we blink our eyes and boom, it's 10 years later. And we're still making content, and it's amazing.
And I remember you made that video. It was like the Call of Duty Black Ops cake, because I was I'm still into Call of Duty, but like at the time, like I was creating so much content around video games and Call of Duty, and Ro made me a Call of Duty Black Ops cake. And I was like, this is incredible. I love her.
I was obsessed with her. I was a huge fan, and I was so nervous to reach out to you. So I thought, how do I maybe get her attention? I was like, I'm going to make a cake that she might enjoy, and then just kind of like put it out there.
And it worked.
I was so happy. You like wrote me back, and I was like beaming. I was so excited. I just couldn't believe everything that you did, because you were live streaming, you were building websites, you're so knowledgeable, you're doing all these tech reviews, you fly drones. Like, we've traveled to Hawaii together, we went hiking together, and Justine's out here flying drones. And she's just so impressive, you guys, so smart. I can barely work my iPhone, and she is like my tech guru. guru. It's embarrassing the vast difference between us with tech knowledge.
Okay, well, the vast difference between technology and then my cooking abilities, I think we're pretty much the same. So
She used to make cakes in a blender.
Yeah, but it worked. You know, it worked.
I will give you credit that it did work, but it was wild.
I didn't even own a mixer, and like my entire life changed when I finally got one. I was like, oh, I see why you guys don't use blenders to mix things. It made a lot of sense.
For people listening that don't know, not only is she making content online, but she's also written a book. She also has a podcast. She has done it all. She's been on so many like TV shows. I'll be watching a show and you just pop up. I'm not kidding. I was shocked. I started watching that vampire series.
Oh, Vampire Diaries.
Vampire Diaries.
Yes.
I'm watching the series. Out of nowhere, boom, you pop up, your beautiful face pops up, and I go, that is not Justine.
There was an era where I was like, I want to go be on all my favorite TV shows. And so then I did that and I was like, okay, now what? Like I just wanted like a small cameo. My main goal was to be a dead body on Law and Order SVU. And that was like the first thing that I did.
No way.
And I was like, oh, this is cool. Can I do something else? And then I was like, is it possible to get on Vampire Diaries? Happened. And then another friend worked on Criminal Minds, which was also a show that I loved. And then I got to get murdered on that as well. And then I decided I don't think I want to die anymore. So can we not do that? And then this is wild. A movie that I filmed back in 2017 just officially got finished this past week, and we filmed it in Pittsburgh, and it's kind of like based like if you're from Pittsburgh, it's real hometown fun feel. So it was cool. I was like, I got to actually play, like my first movie, something that like so special and meaningful to me. So it was really, really fun.
I can't wait. When are we celebrating?
I mean, we can do a screening. It doesn't have distribution yet, but I got a link so we can watch it at my house.
Ooh, I can't wait. Let's do something.
It'd be so fun.
We could do a little launch party.
We could actually probably rent a theater too. That's possible.
There we go. Great
Okay.
idea.
That'd be fun.
Oh my gosh, my friend did that for their like pre-wedding, rented out a theater and we watched a movie that was their first date that they watched,
so cute.
and it was so much fun.
We'll do that. We'll have to do it.
Okay, that's a plan. Okay,
Yay.
you guys, we've already made plans.
Done.
We're busy over here. So out of all the content that you make, I mean, I tried to do the math one time. This was years ago. You had so many channels and you were uploading so consistently on all of them. And I tried to do the math. I was like, are you making 8 videos a day? Like what? I could not even figure it out. It was just really impressive, and just I've never seen anyone do something like that before.
It was a lot, and at the time, like I was still editing everything. I think I was posting 3 gaming videos a day, 1 video, a vlog on my other iJustine channel, a daily iPhone video,
The iPhone videos.
plus a video every other day on my main channel, and I was really unhappy.
Really? It was too much.
God.
That was
What?
burnout.
Like you're losing your mind doing that much content, especially by yourself. I mean, if you have a team of people doing it and you're completely disconnected and you're just a character in it, no. Like I have always been my YouTube channel. Like I may have editors, but I still have the final say. I still will go in and do all the finishing touches, upload. I still make all my own thumbnails. It's not a healthy thing, I would say, having that work-life balance, but it's like I do genuinely really enjoy it. And I think if I didn't, like I would not be doing it.
That's how I feel. I feel like if I didn't love creating content, I just wouldn't do it.
Exactly.
I'm just that kind of person where if I'm not interested in it, I can't fake it. Like if I'm not into it, I'm not going to do it.
Yeah. And I think it's been rough throughout like those burnout times, because sometimes you do kind of have to fake it, and they can tell. Like they know. They're like, you're not at your best right now. And I think that's why I feel like for a lot of creators, like we have to focus on our health, mental health, physical, everything, because if we can't be the best version of ourselves, like you can't be that for, your audience.
I think that that's a really good conversation, because for a while I only uploaded 1 video a week, and I couldn't imagine uploading like 8 a week. It's just such a vast difference in finding your own pace and
For
speed,
sure.
and like taking breaks, taking weekends. Like I remember when I first started YouTube, I never took a weekend. I didn't take a weekend for like 4 or 5 years because I
Right.
was just so busy. And now I really carve out pockets of time and space where I'm not online anymore. I really do that for my mental health, and it's made a huge difference.
Yeah, and I think unfortunately you don't realize that you need to do that until it's too late. And then it's trying to like backtrack to sort of find that normalcy and find that balance. It's incredibly difficult. And for like newer creators now, like honestly, just hustle until you can't anymore, because you will eventually have to have that burnout to really feel what that feels like. To know like when you're at that limit, you can now know like, okay, I got to pull back. I have to go to bed. I'm not going to be able to finish this video. And most of the time, like it really doesn't matter. I just remember those early days. It was like life or death if I did not get something posted. And turns out that it doesn't ultimately matter that much.
I really like your mindset, and it's a mindset that I've adapted, that it's a marathon, not a sprint. So pace yourself. And if you do that, I think that there's a lot of longevity. Like you've had a ton of longevity, and I've had longevity, and I feel like it's pacing.
For sure.
I think that we're both really driven, and like we love what we do, and we're hardworking. But I think the pacing makes all the difference. Speaking of way back in the day, Justine actually, I think that you did the original, what do they call them? Streamathons? You know, what do they call them now on Twitch and Kick and all those sites?
Because, I mean, people stream for like 24 hours, but I streamed for 6 months straight, Ro. 6 months. Like, if you want to talk about really poor mental health, stream for 6 months straight and see what that does to you, because it made me like paranoid. I even when the camera was off for like years later, like I would just think someone's looking at me or like watching. I had to be so cautious. Like I would never wear tank tops because I was just like afraid of like if I bend over, like it was like the
like
weird
your boob's gonna pop out,
right? Because it's like you have to be so incredibly self-aware that it is a very unhealthy thing. But at the time, I mean, like I was younger, it was fun, and it was a really, really cool experiment that I never want to do again.
It was awesome. I had never seen anyone do something like that before. I think that you were the first. You literally live streamed your life for 6 months. People even tuned in to watch you sleep.
Well, I was technically second because Justine was started, or Justin.tv was started by Justin Kahn,
right?
Who that later was then bought by Amazon and Twitch, which became Twitch and then Amazon. So I was kind of the second person, and I had met Justin at Macworld, and it was at this Apple event, and I saw this dude walking around with a camera on his head, and I was like, who is he? He is so cool.
Which, you were like, we're going to be best friends.
For sure. Because my thought process was like, wait, if he's live streaming, that means I don't have to edit. So I was like, this is so cool. I go, dude, what are you doing? This is great. And he said, my name's Justin. I go, I'm Justine. And then we ended up just like talking, and he goes, if there's ever a time
they were like, do we just become best friends?
Yes. So then I came, he had like a bunch of investor meetings and stuff. So I came to San Francisco and like took over his camera for a day. And it was like Justine. People thought that was like my fake name. I was like, no, this is actually my real name. And then later on, when they started opening up to have more people stream, I was the second person to stream after Justin. So it was kind of like a really fun, cool story. I mean, what are the odds? It's like the names were perfect.
Okay, so she wasn't the very first. She was the very second.
The very second.
And the OG of streaming. And it was just so badass. And I just had never seen anything like it at the time. It was just so incredible. And like, I can't even explain to you what that did to me. And then when I read your book, I just learned so much more about you. Like, I've known you for years and we talk a lot. But like, I didn't know that... Like, instead of getting a car, you got a computer in high school.
Well, yes, obviously. Everyone, like, that's when you turn 16. I feel like, my family would give me money to, like, save for a car. Mm-hmm. Well, I decided that I wanted to get a computer, and I did. It was, like, one of those, the gray, like, Mac G3 computers. Actually, that might have been a G4.
Iconic.
That was a G4 at the time. But, yeah, that was, like, absolutely life-changing because it was just... Like, I just felt like I could finally express myself for the first time and through the computer. And it was just really, man, yeah, it was a great time.
It was an aha, like, techie love moment.
Yeah, because I had a computer before that. It was like I think it was a 6160 power PC. I forget which Mac version it was, but it was.
Oh, it was a Mac.
It was a Mac, yes.
If I had a Gateway, what's that?
That's a PC. But
I had a PC.
Yeah. But this was a Mac.
But we can still be friends.
Well, no, we're good.
Okay, good. Okay, good.
Yeah, no, I honestly, I love Microsoft, and to be honest, Microsoft is the best to creators out of almost, I mean, a lot of brands are amazing, but Microsoft they are up there at the top with how incredible they are.
Growing up, I played games on there like Chips Challenge. They had all these corny Microsoft games that I loved. And then even in high school, Justine, instead of going to prom, hosted a computer LAN party at her house. This is just how tech nerdy geeky queenie she is, and I love all of it.
So just a correction, it wasn't at my house. I didn't host it. No, it's okay. Yes, no, it's okay. It was not.
Let's fact check this because
fact check.
Yes,
we had a bunch of my my high school friends. We used to call ourselves the Leak Crew, and we just liked playing video games. And so it was at another friend's house, and we decided that we weren't going to go to prom, and we were going to call it the LAN tie party. And
did you wear prom dresses? Did you guys dress up with the computers, or no? Was it chill?
No, we're comfy cozy. Yeah, playing some Quake 3, Unreal Tournament, and I think that was when CS:GO kind of first came out, and like that. I wasn't a huge fan of it at the time. I was more like Quake and Unreal, but yeah, and that was like the first time that I heard about like actual competitions like esports. Some of my friends would go and compete and play CS:GO, and this is back in like 2000 actually. Like the 2000s.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Maybe so
whoa.
It's wild to have sort of seen that transition of esports, what it has become today. I mean, it's absolutely massive.
It's nuts. I got a spicy question for you. I have actually wanted to ask you this for like 10 years.
Okay.
And we hang out all the time, and I have not asked you this, so I'm going to ask you today.
I'm so nervous.
I know. Maybe I shouldn't have talked it up so much. Now I'm getting nervous.
Are you asking me to get married? Is Mike going to be upset?
Justine, will you marry me? No,
yes.
Yay! Okay, great.
Okay, that's not the question. Now
Justine,
I'm scared.
Do you want a new sister in the family?
Oh, okay,
I am planning on changing my name to your last name.
Okay.
And I'll be the brunette in your family.
Love it.
We'll have all blondes and then little nugget me. Did iCarly use your likeness? Right? Okay, because look, I've been seeing all these rumors pop up online, all these threads, they're everywhere. And I've been seeing them for years, but lately a lot more.
Oh, really?
And then, so I really started to think about it, all right? And I did some Googling. They came out with that show in 2007.
Okay.
You had your channel out, you started in 2006, but you started iJustine in 2002.
Probably, it would have been around when the first iPod came out. So it would have been around, I think I registered the domain in 2003. And then, I was on like MySpace, everything else around like 2002, 2001 as iJustine. So
have you heard this rumor?
I've heard some things, but rumors are rumors.
I'm just going to say it. All right. I have no evidence, but it's sus. Very, very, very sus. You create a very successful online brand. You're like the OG digital creator. You're blowing up everywhere online as iJustine, your website, live streaming, videos. It's going gangbusters. And then some creators of a Nickelodeon show create a show called iCarly. iJustine, iCarly. And it's about a girl who's uploading videos and webcasting her web show. I'm sorry. Okay. You know what they did? They basically took your likeness, in my opinion. They took your likeness and what you were doing of the time, turned it into a TV show version of it, and then, younged it up. They put the kids in like middle school, high school, undisclosed school years, and then had the girl be brunette. And I'm like, you are fooling nobody. Everybody online has been like, you have ripped off iJustine's brand. And have they ever reached out to you? Have they ever given you credit? Have they ever anything? Because how rude. She's like, I plead the fifth.
I've heard some things, but I actually did meet Miranda once. And she was so sweet, and it was so funny because it's like she's playing a character, so like people were getting mad at her for stealing me. I was like, she has nothing to do with this. She probably has no idea who I am, or maybe she does. I don't know. Either way, I like
that sweet angel. She probably wanted to hang out with you so she could study her character.
Oh, she was so
you know
sweet.
how like when like Meryl Streep is gonna play somebody else and they want to hang out with them to really get the character. She probably should have reached out to you so that she could really get your character.
I mean, let's just say I've seen the Nickelodeon documentary, so we can just. Anyway, moving on, not from that entirely. But Miranda was super sweet. It was amazing.
Good to know. I bet she's a sweetheart, and she obviously didn't create the show.
Yeah.
I'm talking poop on the creators to make a show called iCarly after iJustine, and like they couldn't even come up with an original name.
But what was funny is like I was so obsessed with Apple. Like that was the thing, but they made her obsessed with it. Was it like a pear computer? It was some other fruit.
A pear
it was another
computer. And in an interview, I heard that they claimed, the I stands for internet. Because they were getting called out for ripping off your brand. And they were like, oh, no, it doesn't mean I, like the iMacs or iApples. It's for the internet. I mean, like, how many writers in a room had to come up with that excuse? Like...
Yeah, but I mean, it's the same sense.
Should have paid him overtime because I don't believe it. I don't buy it.
I mean, I was inspired by Apple because it was sort of like I loved them so much. And at the time, I mean, I did not ever expect iJustine to be a thing. I just signed up for like MySpace and I was like, oh, Justine's taken. I was like, I'll just throw an I in front of it. And then it sort of became a thing. And then it became more as like, I think the I was just sort of like me because my entire channel has always been what I like. Like you don't know what you're going to find on my channel. I mean, it was baking at one point and it was cooking, tech, travel. It's everything.
Libby the lobster.
Libby the
Libby the lobster.
Sweet.
Don't Google this. I'm just embarrassed.
No,
I love her.
2 years ago, I actually rebought the costume and I was like, I think I need to bring her back, but I didn't because I was like, is that just super weird if there's like this random lobster video?
I want to be a starfish.
Okay, yeah.
Can I be a little starfish and you're a lobster and we're just running around?
So we were talking about like Miranda.
Or a pufferfish.
Like doing like method acting, becoming me. But
yes.
There is something so weird that happens when I put this costume on. I literally become... I don't know who I am.
You're
like
Libby.
The words that are coming out of my mouth, the accent, I don't know who I am. Like I'm a freaking lobster named Libby. Like I don't get it.
That's because you know what? I think you do have a little bit of those like acting chops in there. I do think that like you're artsy, and I do think that like you're saying, you put on this costume and you're just having fun and in character, and I think that that's a really creative artsy thing.
For sure. So,
artists are like that.
Yeah, it's true. It kind of scared me a little watching the videos because I was like, oh my God, who is she? Like this is not me right now.
I do not recognize myself.
Don't know her. But yeah, like that's the thing. It was just like creating content just for the sake of creating content that's fun. I think that's something that I've been missing. And so I feel like these past few years, I've kind of taken a step back sort of from my channel. I mean, I'm still posting and creating, but it's like, what do I want to do? What do I really enjoy? I mean, I love making the tech videos, but I feel like there's something else I want to do. I just haven't quite figured it out yet. So it's a journey.
That's the beautiful thing about content creation is it can evolve and change over the years. And audiences, especially ours, I feel like are so amazing. They are so supportive. They are just like wonderful.
Right.
And they've stuck around for years. They show up for us. And like when you're exploring new things, going on new journeys, a lot of them come along with us on this, like new eras in our lives. Like
Right.
I'm in a new era, and I'm sure if you go to a new era, they're going to love it because they love you. I
Yeah.
love you. I adore you.
Oh, thank you.
And
love
I
you too.
also think you're really graceful. Like even just saying how you were inspired by Apple, and then maybe the creators of iCarly were inspired by you. I think that that's a very graceful way to put it. But I think it's shady because that's like if, I'm making the show Nerdy Nummies and then Nickelodeon comes out with the first word's the same, nerdy, and then it's like
How about
gummies.
nerdy yummies or like nerdy
bummies, or I don't know. Like
That sounds like something they would do.
Yeah, and it's a baker hosting a geeky baking show online. I'm like, okay, fools.
No one's fooled.
A change of a hair color and putting that character in a high school, middle school, you're not fooling anyone. I mean, how rude. My opinion for the record.
Yes, yes.
My opinion for the record.
I plead the fifth.
You're a very graceful queen. I am not anymore. Something else I love about you is that you work with your sister so much, because I work with my sister too,
Yeah.
and that's something we have in common. And so, like, how is it for people who have, they don't work with their family and maybe they aren't able to, like, what is it like?
So I don't know how she puts up with me, to be honest with you. Jenna's incredible. So it's like we work together, but it's like we just like hang out and just, I don't know, like create content or do the projects that we have to do. And I remember she started her YouTube channel maybe like 10, 11, 12 years. I don't know. It's been a long time. I think she was actually still in college. And I was like, hey, you just need to start a channel. And I think I took her to the Apple store, made her sign up, and we made like her first video there. So it's obviously meaningful. But yeah, I mean, working together is great. We have so much fun. And, I think it's one of those things where it's family,
Mm-hmm.
So I still don't know how she hasn't killed me yet.
I know, I feel the same. I feel like nobody loves me more, but also would want to strangle me on some days than my sister.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I love working with her, and she just went through a crazy health journey.
Oh my
She
gosh.
fractured her ankle, had to get reconstructive surgery with the ligaments, and then got a terrible infection. Infection didn't heal, then got like full body like rash from like being allergic to it. So it's like, I think those moments you really realize like health is such a priority. And I think that's something that in this next coming year, like I want to do more health tech, because there's so much stuff that I've been researching personally and not posting about that I think could help so many people.
Justine, I love that.
Yeah.
Teach me everything.
I will.
I want to learn all about the health tech. Okay, so right now I got the new phone. I thought you'd be proud of me. I'm not 4
very
years
proud.
behind. I've got it in my hand here. For people who are watching on YouTube, you can see it.
Did you get the big phone, or is that?
I got the big phone.
I was going to say that looks massive in
It's-
your hand.
It is humongous, and I'm just wondering. I use this for the basics.
Yeah.
You know me. I found out talk to text was a thing just a couple years ago. Like, I'm very behind. So, what is going on this phone that I probably don't know about?
Well, I mean, the new thing that Apple was stressing this year was Apple Intelligence, and finally a lot of those are kind of rolling out. So Siri will be more contextual, so she'll be able to like go into like messages, into your calendar, and actually be able to be more helpful. I think that's still all kind of rolling out. And then later,
is this it? The Apple Intelligence?
You do have it turned on, so that's good.
So, and then what do I do?
So it's just, you don't really have to do anything, which is,
Hey Siri, text Justine that she's awesome.
okay, well, that's not a new feature, but I mean,
It's new to me. Girl, it's new to me. I just did it.
so there's like artificial intelligence stuff built into like notepads, into the text, and then soon you'll be able to create sort of like little emojis, like custom emojis of people, and it's pretty cool. It's going to be a new thing called Image Playground.
Image Playground. Okay, I'm going to keep my eye out for that.
Keep your eye out.
And then what's that thing where people are talking to something and a chat thing?
You can talk to ChatGPT. I usually use Copilot because I feel like Copilot has done that's Microsoft's their kind of version of AI, because it just feels more personable. And yeah, so that's
Can we talk to it? Do you have it on your phone?
see, yes.
Can I just hear it? I've never heard that. And I'm fascinated. I heard people are talking to these things, and I'm like, what's going on here?
All right, so here's Copilot. Let me show you this one. Oh, you're going to love this.
Good morning, Justine. What can I do for you? I'm rolling up my virtual sleeves.
Hey, so I'm here with my friend Rosanna Pansino, and she just started a new podcast. So do you have any tips for her on her new podcast?
Hey, Justine, and hi, Rosanna. Nice to meet you. Congrats on the podcast. Such an exciting project. One tip, be yourself. Your audience will connect with your genuine personality and passion. Also, play around with different themes and segments to keep things fresh and engaging. What's the
Hey,
vibe?
okay, so wait, hold on. Sorry to interrupt you. I was just curious. Do you think that iCarly copied iJustine? Just curious. Wondering your opinion.
Similar names, but different vibes. iCarly is more about a fictional web show, whereas iJustine is real-life Justine's tech-focused content. So, not quite a copy. More like they're in the same digital neighborhood doing their own thing. What's your take?
Well, I think that my friend Rosanna disagrees. Rosanna, what do you think?
I think that iJustine started her online career before iCarly came out, and I think they copied that idea.
That's an interesting perspective, Rosanna. It's definitely possible that iCarly was inspired by real-life creators like Justine. Both have been pioneers in online content creation, that's for sure. It's fascinating how media can reflect and even be shaped by real-world trends, huh?
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny, huh? Okay, well, anyway, we're going to continue the podcast. Anyway, wish her luck on this episode.
Okay, Rosanna, break a leg. You're gonna nail it. Can't wait to hear how it goes. And hey, Justine, let's catch up later.
Okay, oh, no, we're done. We're done. We're done. Oh, wait, okay, sorry, bye.
Sorry.
Yeah, we're done.
Wait,
That's not a real person. That's not a real person. Like,
I'm sorry, why is that so addicting?
I know. And that's why I like the Copilot one, because it literally feels like, I don't know.
Do you feel
wild.
like, because of how smooth it is, do you feel like people are going to be talking to humans less and talking to their AI more?
I think they're going to be talking to AI about things that they may not want to talk about, like to their friends with, maybe. I feel like it'd be like a safe space, kind of like you think Google's a safe space. I mean, it is all archived in the cloud somewhere, so, it's still out there. But I think it's there anytime you need it. And I think it can actually help a lot of people do a lot of different things. So if you just need someone to talk to, I mean, that feels pretty authentic. I mean, even when I said, oh, my friend Rosanna's here, like, it was talking to you, like, it knew.
That's wild.
And I had met with some of the creators that actually worked on the Copilot, like, creating that voice.
No way.
And how much passion and, I guess, attention to detail to try to make it seem super authentic, so that people feel like you're talking to a person, yet sort of have that consideration and disconnect so that so it isn't actually a person, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
Because it's such a fine line.
10-4. 10-4. Got you. I think that it could really help me like it just did on my phone, like even AI helping me just function, because I'm super dyslexic and have ADHD. So one of my weaknesses, from communicating with me for years, is like texting. I'm not the best at texting. Sometimes I'll just call you or I'll send you video messages.
Yeah.
Because I really have a hard time reading and writing. But if I'm able, even just like the voice to text, or even just talking to these AI programs to help me communicate better, I do think that that is a cool feature about
It's
them.
so cool, yeah.
Is it actually safe for cars to be driving themselves right now?
Okay, so here's what I kind of think. I mean, it still is new tech. It is still beta. I did not really drive here. Like, my car drove me here today. The Cybertruck drove me here.
It drove you here?
Yes. And what's amazing is I'm paying more attention when it is driving, because it makes you pay attention. Like, you can't be looking down. You can't be like falling asleep. You have to be like attentive and looking out the window, or it'll start beeping, and then it'll be like, hey, strike 1, strike 2, strike 3. You can't use autonomous driving anymore. So I kind of think it's making people maybe pay a little more attention. And also, when you think about it, it's like, I've got 2 eyes and I'm basically looking forward. These vehicles and cars have cameras, sensors all around them. So, I mean, we're not quite there yet, but when all of these devices are connected and kind of talking to each other, I think that's where the real safety features are going to be. But there's still going to be those outliers of things that it can't predict. But with all the data and the more that you're driving, it's just constantly learning.
So it's basically you're sitting in the car and there's like sensors or something that are looking at your face.
There's like a little camera so it can detect, even if you have sunglasses on, it's supposed to be able to detect if you're paying attention or not.
Whoa. So like, and so if you look down, so you can't like be just on your phone
No.
when you're driving, because if you look down, it's going to give you those strikes.
Yeah, and I think on like the older Tesla models, you kind of can get away with it as long as your hands are on the wheel. But with like the newer ones, they're kind of using like this camera assist to make sure that you're paying attention.
I've never been in a self-driving car. I've always been a little bit nervous, but honestly, nobody's going to drive worse than my mom. So like my mom drives like we have 9 lives. My mom gets in so many accidents. She's awful. I honestly think I would be safer in a self-driving car.
It's
She
pretty
would be
interesting.
safer in a self-driving car.
Possibly, yeah. And it's great too, because like even if I'm always in the car, like going from one thing to the other. So a lot of times I'm eating in the car. So being able to just like put my car into auto drive and be able to like take a bite of a sandwich, take a drink, and know that at least for that few seconds, it's got me.
I love that.
Yeah, it's great.
Oh my gosh, you know what we used to do in high school? This is terrible because we were young and dumb. We had just gotten our licenses. We're 16. Me and my girlfriends, if she was like, oh my gosh, I have to put on my lipstick, she would literally put on her lipstick and say, grab the wheel.
Oh, jeez.
And then we would like drive for each other.
Yeah, not safe.
Not safe, but I mastered that. I can do that. In another sticky situation that was funny, a friend was eating a burrito and driving a stick shift.
Oh my gosh.
And we hit this part where they had to toss the burrito to shift in a situation. And that was, so I like that this technology is advancing. I think that I feel more comfortable once it's like not in beta anymore and it like all the kinks have been worked out. I got a spicy question for you.
Okay.
It's kind of like a would you rather this
Okay.
or that. Okay, so Cybertruck or Rivian? Rivian.
Ooh, Rivian.
Rivian?
Yes. So
Cybertruck or Rivian?
it's so interesting because they are two completely different vehicles. And I think that people like to kind of throw them out as the same thing because they're a truck. To me, the Rivian feels like a truck, whereas the Cybertruck feels just like this weird sort of spaceship kind of vehicle. Like it's so different than anything that's out there.
It has the biggest windshield.
It's a massive windshield. Yeah,
You feel like you're in a spaceship.
for sure. So, I mean, I would say Rivian just because their build quality and like company culture is amazing. It's like that's something that comes from the top down. Like their CEO is just so caring and just a genuinely very kind person, and that carries out through the culture. And also the build quality compared to the Cybertruck and the Rivian, it's so much better.
Okay, I'm getting excited.
But with that being said, the Cybertruck is really, really fun. Yes, it's hideous. I was actually in the gym the other day and I heard this woman, she was talking to her trainer. She's like, whose ugly metal thing is that parked out here? She's like, they've got to be in here because they're in the parking lot. And I turned around and I was like, oh, that's mine. I was like, everything you're saying about it is totally true. It is pretty hideous, but it's really fun to drive. And she goes, oh, wow, it's so ugly, but I'm so glad that a woman is driving it. she was so funny. But driving this thing is so fun because it has like electronic steering. So you're driving it. It's massive. It's huge. You're driving a tank, but it feels like you're driving a go-kart. It's so fun.
Can I drive your car?
Yeah, we'll just push that seat forward. You'll be ready to
I
go.
have a question though. If I'm a nugget, do you think I can drive it? Because there's some cars I can't drive.
Well, we can find out.
Because I'm too short. I cannot fit them. Like sports cars, I can't drive.
Right, because
you're
that's like
laying
super low.
down.
Yeah.
I know. The people listening, you can't see this, but literally when I'm in a sports car, Justine, it's like this. It's like
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah.
anything.
It might be a small challenge, but I think it's possible.
I like cars that are higher up, so I feel like the Cybertruck is that. It has that, raised, and it's also with the Rivian, it's like, anything that's an
higher.
SUV, a truck, I feel like I drive pretty well. But if it's,
I feel like you guys would love a Rivian.
I think I would.
I think it's like totally your vibe.
Is it? Are the seats luxurious? I need to know.
Yeah, come on over. We'll do a test drive.
Okay, I cannot sit in bucket seats. That's another thing
No,
about
they're
sports
very
cars
comfortable.
is I don't like those really hard, uncomfortable bucket seats. I just can't do
No,
it.
they're great.
I
They're
am in my
super
old lady
comfy.
comfort era. I can't, if I'm going on a road trip or even to a business meeting, I want to be comfortable. I want to
Yep.
be sitting in luxury. I want to just have my little bum feeling nice and cushy. Like, I don't want.
Well, maybe you need a Faraday. Have you seen those?
What's that?
Dude, they're like...
Can you cut carrots with that? I saw your videos
no,
where you were the Cyber truck trunk was cutting like carrots and all sorts of stuff.
It'll probably cut your arm off. Let me see. So the Faraday has like, this is a futuristic. If you want luxurious, this is like made for somebody to drive you around. So Mike, get in that driver's seat.
Let me
Rose
see.
getting
Let
in
me
the
see.
back
Let me
seat.
see.
Okay, so they're starting at $309,000. So they're a little more expensive than.
That's crazy.
Yes.
Wait, what does it give you a back massage? What is included in this price?
So freaking cool. Yeah, I'll have to show you some. I'll send you some content, but it's like the whole back seat. It's like got a huge monitor. Like there's TVs. There's just like it is like the future of, if this could drive you, like you would just want to hop in the back.
It's a house on wheels.
I mean, it looks like a normal vehicle though, but when you get in it, it's pretty cool.
No way. Okay, I've never even heard of these before.
It's pretty awesome.
That's awesome. Okay.
It's expensive.
Speaking about
scared.
badass things.
Oh, no.
That a lot of dudes do, that I think a lot more ladies should be aware of, is that you started martial arts and you're a badass and you've been doing it for years now. And I was so impressed. You started training and you trained in private for a really long time. And then I was so happy when you shared that part of your life with the world, because it's just another thing, just like tech, that I think is very male dominated. There are females in the space, but it's just so nice to see a kick-ass woman like yourself doing stuff in these spaces that don't traditionally have like a ton of women. And I was just thought that was so amazing. I mean, I've seen your videos and I'm just like, oh my gosh, my girlfriend could kill me. I'm like, Justine is so beautiful and so sweet, but if she wanted to, she could probably rip off my head.
I mean, I could, but I'm not going to.
Thank you, I appreciate it.
No, you're good. You're good.
You were showing me some moves on Halloween.
Oh yeah, on Halloween.
I was over at Justine. She had a big get together, and it was just so much fun. And I was like, "Can you show me what this is all about? Like, I just need to learn." And you had briefly showed me another time, but it was fascinating.
I started training jiu-jitsu it was like around 2018, and I feel like in our careers and in life, like you go through the highs and lows, and like 2018 for whatever reason was just like, it was a really bad time for me, and I just felt like I needed something, and like jiu-jitsu just sort of like opened its doors to me. And it started because my sister and I were at this restaurant, and this guy was yelling at his wife. Like, the things that he was saying to her, it was so awful. And like, he said something like, you effing B, like, stop effing crying. Like, all of these awful things to her. So he told her, like, just basically was telling her to stop crying, like, quit crying in the middle of this restaurant. And then I was like,
he's screaming at her.
And I
quit crying, you dumb bitch, blah, 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 and like
basically
screaming and humiliating her.
And I was like, my blood was boiling, and I was just like, I can't sit here and have this person do this to this woman. So I turned around and I was just like, look, maybe she'd stop crying if you'd stop yelling at her. And then he looked at me like, if looks could kill, this dude was out. And he was like 70. He was an older guy. Like, this was not just like some young dude. He gets up and starts charging at me and my sister.
No.
And thankfully we were in a booth, so like there was like a seat kind of like in between us. And then he just started like saying awful things to me as well. And then my sister like slowly grabs like a butter knife. And then we all step back, and then everyone kind of comes out in the restaurant, puts him back in his place, whatever. They still make us pay for our meal. They did give us free dessert. So that was nice. But
I feel like they should have taken care of your meal, because you're basically a bodyguard at this point.
Yeah.
Or a bouncer. I feel like a working bouncer at this restaurant.
He could have done something to me. And it was in that moment where I was like, I feel so weak that I don't even know what I would have done. Like, I had nothing in my arsenal of toolbox of like mental, physical, like I didn't know what to do.
How to protect yourself.
Yeah. So then I was a huge fan of the band Tool. It's like so random.
Wow.
And Maynard James Keenan, who's like the lead singer, had always been talking about jujitsu and how it was just like life changing for him. And then I just thought, you know, I'm just gonna go try it. So I walk into this gym, literally knowing nothing. And if anyone knows like UFC or jiu-jitsu, it was Kenny Florian's gym, and I didn't know who he was. I knew nothing. And then I met like the lady at the front desk, and she was like, well, we have some coaches here. She's like, you might want to train with Kenny. That's cool. And so like I started taking some private classes from him. And then I told some friends, I was like, yeah, I'm just training with this guy, Kenny. They're like, I'm sorry, who are you training with? I was like, yeah, he's Kenny Florian. He has a gym. They're like, he doesn't just have a gym. He's like a legendary UFC fighter. Like, do you understand this? So it was like such a great introduction to jiu-jitsu, because the way that he taught was so thoughtful, and like everything that he was teaching was kind of, it made sense. So, you know, I think for people to really love this sport, like having a good introduction to it is so, so important. So if you do end up at a gym that you're like, I didn't vibe with that, please try again. Find another one, because it'll make all the difference in the world for sure. But yeah, like you said, I didn't post about it for like 2 years.
Yeah, for a while.
I don't even have any photos of me basically as a white belt, because I didn't want to even like touch my phone. I didn't want anyone to know who I was. I didn't want to post that I was there. And I said, if I can make it to my blue belt, then I'll post about it. And then I did. And then, yeah, so now it's all I want to talk about.
And then now, you guys, she just posted, and I'm so proud of you. Congratulations. She just got her purple belt.
I did. Thank you.
Which is so badass.
Yes, I was very excited. Because it's so, like, people
And that
don't.
just happened.
Yeah, like
right?
a few days ago, depending upon when this is posted. Yeah. And then before that, I started doing competitions, mostly because I felt like I was so stagnant in my training that I was like, I'm not getting better. So I need to push myself. And it's like I've only done 3 so far, but each one, like I learned so much. And then the last one, like I ended up getting 3rd place. I lost my first match and then won the second 2. And then it was such a fun experience. But yeah, jiu-jitsu, I think for me has changed my life in so many ways that we'd need another 5 hours to talk about all of that.
I know. Come back on and we're going to talk about it, because I think that there's so much connection and correlation between like you playing video games and then jiu-jitsu. I was thinking about it a lot, like about achievement based and like growing. And I was like, I think this makes so much sense for you. And you've always been so active. So it's like all these things coming together and like fitting really well for you in your life. Like, and I love it. I love watching it for you. I'm like, this is amazing. It makes me want to try. And I'm a nugget. I have no business being in a jiu-jitsu class.
There's so many people your size too that I've met along the course.
Okay, what is the smallest weight class?
I think there's like under 108 maybe. There's a light, super light. Yeah.
108. So I'd have to put on like 15 pounds of muscle. I'm a nugget. I mean,
you don't have to be at that weight. You would just be under that.
No, I got to be at that weight. I mean, if I'm 15 pounds underweight of my opponent, they're going to kill me, Justine. They're going to eat me for breakfast. Well, they're going to eat me like one of these treats we got out here.
You're not completely wrong, because
I'll be a snack.
The first 2 competitions I did, I was at a higher weight bracket. And then the last one, I was like, I think I need to drop down to the lower.
Yeah, girl.
And it did make a huge difference. But I think that's why jiu-jitsu is so powerful, because a lot of it is technique based. So just because you are smaller, I've gotten beat up by people your size, like black belt women that have literally just beat the crap out of me, maybe even smaller. Like, it's so fascinating because you're using the technique and leverage, and you just know what to look for. So it's possible.
So smart, Justine. This makes me want to get a triple black belt, because then maybe I'll have a chance against somebody.
Well, what I think it's interesting what you said too about it being like a male dominated sport. It is, but I have met some of like my best women friends from this sport, and it's so incredibly empowering, because there are so many men, but when you meet other girls doing it, it's just like you have an instant connection and you just want to train and like help each other get better.
I love
So please come.
that.
You should come take a class. Come to our women's class.
Okay,
It'll be fun.
Okay,
It'll be
I'm gonna try it, you guys. And if it goes terribly, I'll tell you guys all about it on the podcast. If I end up in the hospital,
You won't.
guys will be the first to know.
You will not.
But I want to try it.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm down. I'm gonna try it. And I just think it's also just something I just want to say is like how much I admire you, because whenever you see something wrong, you always speak up, even when it's hard. And I just really admire that about you. Like you seeing a guy raging on a woman in a restaurant, you know, and like just speaking up and saying something, even though you don't even know what you're doing in that moment, you just know that that's not right. It's just so inspiring. And you've been like that forever. I don't know if you remember this, but the first time we did a panel together, it was at YouTube Space. We were talking about like how creators can better work with like advertisers.
Oh, yeah.
And somebody was being a little snarky or a little nasty to somebody who was definitely a little nerdy. And you just very gracefully shut it down.
I don't remember that, but yeah, that would make me upset.
I witnessed that and I went, you are amazing.
Well, thank you.
I think I fell in love with you right there. I already was a fan of you, but right there I was like, that is a great woman. That is someone I truly admire. Okay. I was like, sign me up. I'm a fan for life.
Oh my gosh, you're the best.
But I love that about you. And I feel like I have that same instinct. And I'm trapped in this 4'10" body. And it's like, how do you have the heart of a warrior in a 4'10" female body? It's not fair.
Bring it to the mats, girl. That's all we've got to say.
Yeah.
It's so interesting too, because it's like when you step onto the mat, I think because we are such public people, like you become, everyone's equal. I mean, yes, there are like belt ranks, but like you're not thinking about fighting an actor or fighting a real estate agent. Like you're all just basically like trying to survive. And it's so fun because you learn so much about yourself, about your friends, and I just can't express enough like how it is so life-changing. So I definitely think that you should try it. And especially if you go to women's classes and even just any types of like self-defense in general, I think is so important. And one of the most important things is you really want to just disengage and get out of there if you are in an altercation. Like don't try to fight it. If you can get away, that's really what you want to do.
Smart. That's great advice, you guys.
Yeah. If they steal your purse, it can be replaced. Like let it go.
Yeah. Don't jump on their back like a backpack and rip their hair out.
I've run through so many scenarios in my mind, like, which is crazy because it does make you think differently. Like when I'm walking somewhere, like I'm so much more aware and I'm like, okay, if something happens, like what would I do in this scenario? So like, it's probably not very healthy. I'm like running through these scenarios of things, but it's like, you kind of have to, because you need to kind of visualize it to sort of prepare yourself for anything that can happen.
I think it's smart, just like safety in general. I'm a big fan of safe cars. I don't like fast sports cars. I think safety is sexy. The safer, the better.
Right.
I want to drive around a tank. I want to drive something that's very, very, very safe. That's my favorite. And I also think that like whenever I'm going somewhere, I do the buddy system. My dad was always saying safety in numbers and all those things to me growing up, and that really resonated with me. And it kind of sucks that you do have to think about those things, you know, but I think it's better to think about them than to never think about them.
For sure.
And put yourself in a situation where you're not okay, you know?
Yeah.
So
and
I think that that's a good
And carrying
advice.
like mace and stuff like that is way better than actually having a weapon, because unfortunately, most of the time, someone may be able to overpower you, get the weapon off of you, and then use it against you. So that's also where, because I love knives, so I used to carry them all the time. And then I'm like, well, even though I have done a bunch of knife training as well. So
Yeah.
I was like, being able to have that ability to disarm somebody if they come at you, and just having that awareness is so important. But honestly, just mace and get the heck out of there is your best bet.
You guys, she's everything. She's trained with all these different, not just knives and jiu-jitsu, but also you even did lightsaber training for years, and you work in that lightsaber, these videos, you look like you are Rey out of the Star Wars movies.
I forgot we did some lightsaber stuff here before, right?
You were amazing at them, and I actually called your trainer.
Oh, yeah.
Orion.
Yeah, do you guys do a couple
And
classes?
I trained with him, and I got a little better, but basically I was embarrassed. I mean, it
funny.
I dropped that stupid thing so many times. I was like, maybe I'm not a Jedi. Perhaps I'm not a Jedi.
A lot of training to be a Jedi.
They were like, find the Force. I was like, I can't even find my cell phone. Okay, guys, we're going to... That day, was such a hot mess. we started training and I felt so uncomfortable. I was like, what is going on here? I thought I had a wedgie. I'd go in the bathroom. I had put my underwear on backwards that day. Like, I was so tired in the morning that I had, like, flipped it. I mean, and I was like, okay, I can't even put on my underwear the right way. Like, we're going to have to slow it down here. But he was so helpful, and I did
he's
improve. He's phenomenal.
Yeah, I still train with him for, like, strength training and stuff like that, and we do a little of that as well. But it was so sad because I think that because of the lightsaber and sword training, that's how I got a blood clot. Because because I had something called thoracic outlet syndrome. So like the ribs are set up too high. So because of that repetitive movements of like swords, and like this happens to like athletes that swim, baseball players, anything of that repetitive motion, it was like pressing on the vein and the artery. And so, I mean, in my medical files, it says lightsaber training could potentially be from the blood clot.
That's on your record.
Yeah. Like I would have the doctors, they would come in. I'm literally in the ICU, like thinking I'm dying. And they're like, we really need to talk to you. And I was like, what's wrong? I was like, am I dying? They're like, no, but can you tell us about this lightsaber training? Like, what is this?
They're like, it's so intense. It has caused probably a health problem here.
I go, well, I can't use either of my hands right now, but can you just Google iJustine lightsaber and you'll see it. So it was a wild time. I remember you came to visit me.
Yes, I was so scared when you told me you had a blood clot. And I was like, where are you? I'm coming over right now. And you were like, no, I don't want to. I was like, I'm already in the car. So you better tell me where you are. I'm coming now. But
like, they don't let visitors come into the ICU.
They don't.
Ro not only breaks into the ICU.
I was like, I'm family. I'm coming in.
She comes in, big trench coat, takes the coat off. So before we get into that, we were supposed to go to Hawaii.
We were going to go to Hawaii together. Oh.
So the guy was like, oh, you can't travel. You're unwell. So Ro brought Hawaii to me. He brought me a big basket of goodies. But the best part was under the trench coat, she had a coconut little bra on and like a little hula skirt. And you started like dancing and putting music. I was like, oh my God. I was like, I'm so unwell, but this like made my day. It was incredible.
My only goal was to make you smile because I've been in the hospital and I know how crappy it is. And I know that you don't want people seeing you like that. You're just like crap. And I said, if I can just go in there and show her love and make her smile, then she'll feel that love. It's going to help with healing. That was my only goal. So I'm so glad that
I was healed.
But when I was checking in, I got some looks. When I was checking in, I was like, hi, I'm family. I'm here to visit Justine. You just tell me what room. I got to go. And they finally let me in. But yeah, that trench coat, my grass skirt was hanging out the bottom a little bit.
Oh my gosh.
And it was rustling around a bit. So people were like, what is going on in there?
It was so unbelievable.
Got some looks.
Yeah, no, it was completely unhinged. And then after, like, the nurses were like, yeah, we don't really have that often. They're like, usually people in the ICU are non-communicative. So that was wild.
I was like, look, nurse, step aside. Look, nurse, give me 5 minutes here.
It was amazing. So thank you. It was very thoughtful. And I think about that a lot. It was
Anytime
amazing.
you are there, I'm going to be there. And I just think that it's just so fascinating to me that when you train for things that you put your whole heart and soul into them and you get so good at them so quickly. Like you doing the lightsaber work, it looks so good. Like you look like you could be in a movie doing those moves. Like
that originally was the goal. I was like, man, I want to be in Star Wars. I should start training just in case they call. Like what like that's a weird thing.
I would have called you because it's better. It is so good. And that you train so hard like a professional athlete than to get an injury like a professional athlete would.
Yeah.
That's something, I just admire that about you, man. That's crazy.
I do miss the lightsaber stuff, but then I kind of took a step back and like really focused on jujitsu. And like this year, it was kind of my goal to get a purple belt because I was like, I've been doing this for so long. And it wasn't really necessarily the belt. Like I didn't actually care about that. It was more just I wanted to train as hard as I could and as consistently and trying to like work and travel. I mean, that's the hardest part. It's like, this isn't something that's easy. I don't know how you do it. So it's like, I will plan my flights if I can train in the morning, or I'll have a flight early and then train whenever I get somewhere. So it's like, if I'm going to New York, I'm like, okay, well, if I land at like 12, okay, I can like make it to a 5 o'clock class there. So it's like literally my days revolve around when I can train. And that was like kind of my goal this year. I was like, if I get a belt, that's great. but I just wanted to make that like my main focus. So I mean, my YouTube channel has definitely taken a hit because of it, because it's like I get tired, I have to go to bed, I just can't do all of the stuff that I could before, but I feel like I found a really good balance. So I'm excited for kind of like next year to sort of get back into creating the more fun content that I love so much.
Oh my gosh, Justine. You, out of all of my girlfriends, I think you travel the most.
It's a lot. It's
Sometimes
hard.
I will see, like between texting you and when I will look on your Instagram and stuff, and I cannot believe you're like, hi, I'm in Germany. I'm over here. I'm back. I'm like, what? How? I
Mike will
can't
be
even
like,
keep track of you.
Mike's like, are you here the next 3 months? Maybe like you can come be on the podcast. I was like, just keep asking me. We're going to make it happen. It's going to happen.
I'm like, we're gonna, and literally when I came over for your Halloween party, Jenna's in her boot.
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
for her injury. And I was like, hey girl, are you around? She goes, oh, I'm actually about to jump on a plane and go to,
We went to Hawaii the next day.
oh my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, I just.
For work.
Yeah. And then she went further. She went
She went to India.
India.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm like, you guys just don't stop. It's incredible to me. It inspires me. It makes me want to be like, hey, go do something.
Yeah, you're always doing stuff.
Yeah, but just not like you.
Yeah, but you're doing so much.
I'm doing a lot, but
Yes.
not like you, girl.
No.
It's a different level. Oh my gosh, the time has flown by. You need to come back and hang out and talk some more because this was so much fun. But you guys, a big thank you to Justine for coming on Rodiculous and hanging out with me today. I love when we hang out.
Oh my gosh, it's so much fun. I know, this was great. I feel like I have so many questions for you, so you're going to have to come on our podcast. You and Molly, it'll be fun.
Oh my gosh, same brain.
Yes, it'll be so great.
I'm down, you guys. If you're watching on YouTube, I've got the mugs. All right.
So
I
cute.
love these. And for any of you who are watching on YouTube, if you have YouTube members, we're going to be uploading an additional video. We're doing an old school YouTube Ask IJ video. So yeah, go check it out. And thanks for listening, you guys. Bye-bye.
Bye.